Hi, my name is Cadmus. I'm a Law of Assumption content creator as well as a reality shifter. Hello! It's been a while. I went on a little hiatus. What was it, like 8 months? I was in a living situation where I couldn't really openly speak about spirituality, so I just didn't. That's also why I've kind of not been on TikTok much. But here I am. I moved in with my boyfriend, and we have an apartment and 2 kitties, and I'm living life right now, and I can actually practice my spirituality and speak about it. So here we are. I'm back. If you would like to see more of moi, yours truly, I do have an Instagram and a TikTok. Both usernames are Shifting with Cad. If you're new here and you like reality shifting, or law of assumption, or spirituality, or self-development, go ahead and subscribe. Today, I would like to talk about trauma a little bit when it comes to reality shifting. As some of you may know, or not, I am a mess. I have BPD. I did have depression, did have anxiety. I don't really struggle with those anymore, but they're still on my chart. I have, within the month, been diagnosed with ADHD and autism. Late diagnosis, girlies. Don't get me started. And my past is just crazy. I have had so many losses. I am perpetually in a state of grief. I've also been abused by multiple men in every way possible. So as you can imagine, I have a lot of trauma from my original reality. I do very much use reality shifting to heal. Now, trauma does come and it does go between different realities. I lost my mom to cystic fibrosis when I was 11 in this reality. In like most of my desired realities, my mom is alive and well and we're both adults and yada yada. I see these two people as completely different people. This one, original mother, I knew up until I was 11, I only saw really how she treated me. I saw her as a mother. I did not see her as an adult. I didn't see her, I didn't know her, I guess is the bottom line. I saw her through the childlike lens of a child. And then over here, we're adults. I know her grievances, I know her past, I know her friends, I know her enemies, I know how she interacts with different people. I know much more about her. Over here, since she passed away when I was 11, I didn't really hit any milestones where she was present. You know, graduating high school, driver's ed, prom, relationships, first car, first job, just all that stuff, first apartment. She was never there, and I am constantly reminded of her absence. When an important event happens, there's just kind of emptiness. Then over here, she's been there all my life, and I have memories of prom night, my first car, my first job, my first apartment, relationships. I just see them as different people. But even when I'm over here, I still feel that loss, that trauma of losing my mom, even when she's looking me directly in the face. It's weird. It's a really weird thing. It's profound, if you will. Having access to her in a different reality and being able to experience her and be her daughter and her be my mother has helped. Because, you know, when people pass away, you're always like, oh, where'd they go? Am I ever gonna see them again? You know, depending on your beliefs, you will or you won't, or whatever. I know that she's there, and I know she's out there, and anything that I'm going through, I can talk to her about. Which then has helped me in my original reality. She might not be here, but she is elsewhere. She's still present in my life in a different way. And I feel like that is healing. In 2021, the guy I was dating at the time ended his life. And that was the hardest thing I've ever been through. I hadn't successfully shifted yet at that point, but shifting the hope of it, because I hadn't experienced anything other than like one mini shift that I talked myself out of at that point. I just clung to the hope that shifting was real, and I remember like literally burying him, shovel in hand, and looking out over like the field. There was a field next to the cemetery. I didn't just bury him in a field. Okay, we got that. I just remember not crying, not having any sort of negative, sad emotion, because I knew there's no reason to cry because I was going to see him again. I was going to shift and see him again, and that became my reason for living. And I did. And I processed in my original reality that death. I think I shifted at the end of 2021, and I think I waited a whole year after his death to finally shift and see him. I made sure I was straight, made sure it wasn't going to impact my mental health in a negative way, and it was healing, shifting and seeing him again and knowing he's there, and I can have that experience if I choose to. That's just grief. That's how shifting has helped me with grief. Then you have more terrible things, if you will, which I won't explicitly state, but there's things that cause PTSD and they stay with you, and shifting has also helped me with that. I've shifted to realities where I get justice for things that I can't hear, and that looks like me scripting my past is the same, or like the same things have happened to me, and then I just have these DRs built off of that where I receive the support I am owed. I receive the justice that law enforcement is obligated to provide me with, yet they don't in my original reality. I have shifted for therapy. It's just kind of like an easy route in a way, because, you know, here I have jumped between different therapists and I haven't liked any of them, and they just haven't been very professional. But I can script exactly what I want in a therapist and shift there and get something more out of it than I would here. Let's see, what else have I tried? There's other personal things that I don't feel comfortable mentioning, but it's been big in healing me. Shifting is not just about seeing a comfort character. And I know we know this at this point, but I just want to reiterate that. A lot of people who stumble across shifting think it's too good to be true because of the way it's presented on social media, which is like shifting for celebrities or into a TV show and that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I partake in that. But shifting is a profound spiritual experience for the individual. An infinite amount of realities leads to an infinite amount of solutions for things that you've gone through. And it can help dull, lessen, and heal what you've gone through in other realities. And I do feel called to say this as we wrap this up. This reality, your original reality, is a reality. It's just the same as your desired realities with how it operates. We can see this when we use law of assumption to manifest things. It's just scripting. This reality is not a hellscape. This reality is not something that you need to escape to get the things you desire. And obviously there's things where they don't exist in this reality and blah blah blah, but I just mean if you're willing to make your original reality a desired reality, there are resources there to do that. Whether that's scripting, manifesting, changing your mindset, it could be anything. I used to want to escape all the time, and I feel like that did cause some blockages. I was just so desperate, and I just couldn't see how this reality could mean anything good for me. And that was definitely my mindset. And I raised my vibration, I changed my self-concept to a higher one. I put effort into my life here, and it equaled out the pedestal. I wasn't down here looking up at my DR and, oh, I wish I was there, oh, I'm gonna shift there, and blah, blah, blah. It kind of, it brings them together, and you realize one is not better than the other. And I think that is a big thing when it comes to shifting that shifters need to realize. All realities are equal in the way that they operate. Obviously, they're not all equal in what they can give you. They're drastically different in the experiences that you can be provided. But convincing yourself that this place is a prison is not going to help you. This place, this original reality, is where you were introduced to shifting. That means something to you, doesn't it? Since coming to that realization, that conclusion, I have manifested so much that I can't even talk myself out of as coincidence. I guess that is the final thought I will leave you with. Again, if you want to see more of me, subscribe to this channel or follow me on my socials. I hope to be gracing your life much more in the future. I don't plan on taking another hiatus like that for at least a bit. But I hope this video had some good food for thought, and that I got my point across. But I will see you in the next video. Bye.